Welcome to today's Explainer. We're actually skipping the dry data and traditional research today, and we're diving straight into a really intimate, profound conversation between a mother, who we'll call Mama, and her 14-year-old daughter, Sushma. As we unpack their dialogue, we're going to explore how we define success, how we can finally escape that exhausting comparison trap, and what it actually means to be truly beautiful.
Have you ever felt like you are doing your absolute best, pouring your whole heart into your work, your studies, or your relationships, but you still never seem to cross the finish line first? Like you never get the gold medal, the top rank, or the loudest applause. It's a completely exhausting feeling, right? Well, that's exactly where 14-year-old Sushma finds herself as our source material begins.
Okay, let's dive into this first part, the immense pressure to win, and why trying your hardest doesn't always look like a traditional victory.
Sushma is a teenager doing exactly what we tell young people to do. She is putting herself out there, but listen to her frustration in this quote. She says, "I participate in every event. I never win. I don't get a good rank in my class. Why don't you get angry at me?" Think about the heartbreaking logic she's using here. Sushma has totally internalized this idea that a lack of traditional winning, like not getting a top rank, is a failure so severe that it should literally earn anger from her parent. But as they keep talking, we uncover the root of this fear. Sushma tells her mother that she's trying to win so her parents can be proud. She says, "When relatives come or your friends come home, they brag about the achievements of their children. I see Papa and you have nothing to say." Her real worry isn't just about her rank in a vacuum, you know? It's about the social currency of success. She's terrified she's giving her parents absolutely nothing shiny to brag about to the world.
Now, check out her mom's incredible response. Mama says, "Why should I be angry? You are making efforts to find out what really works for you." She completely flips the script and rejects the premise that winning is the only metric of value. She points out that the very act of trying, the messy effort of self-discovery, is a victory in itself. Figuring out what fits you is the actual work of growing up. Which brings us to our next major theme, the ecosystem of success. We're looking at visible wins versus invisible support.
Now, what's really interesting here is how Mama Turley totally redefines success. She explains that while everyone brags about traditional winners, success is also being a facilitator who helps others succeed. Notice how this definition completely strips the ego away? It's no longer just about, "Look at me," it's about the entire ecosystem.
Mama uses this brilliant metaphor from nature to explain this. Think about it. In nature, everyone stops to admire the flower, right? Those represent the visible winners, the people everyone brags about, the folks holding the trophies. But hey, a flower cannot happen without the root, the stem, the leaves, and the soil. Those are the facilitators. And beneath that, there are millions of unseen microorganisms making the soil rich enough for anything to grow at all. Mama tells Sushma, "You might be one due to whom success of others happen. That is no less valuable. Being the soil is absolutely just as critical as being the petal." So when Sushma asks why her mother is proud of her if there are no trophies to show off, Mama points straight to the roots. She is proud because Sushma is evolving into a fine young girl, because her friends seek her out for solutions, because she has varied interests and is highly competent. Mama is prioritizing character over a report card, celebrating the exact traits that make someone a foundational human being.
All right, let's transition over to the next big hurdle, escaping the comparison trap and finding value outside the spotlight.
Let me ask you something. Why do we rely on others to feel visible? Take a second and just let that sink in. Have you ever attached yourself to people who are louder, more successful, or maybe more conventionally attractive, hoping a little bit of their spotlight will spill over onto you?
Sushma actually confesses this exact same feeling to her mother. She says, "I am not good looking. That's why I feel insecure. Some of my friends are very pretty and they draw a lot of attention. Being around with them gives me visibility too." I mean, wow. That is just the vulnerable reality of teenage insecurity right there. She feels she doesn't inherently draw attention, so she uses her pretty friends as a proxy to be seen. She is relying 100% on external validation to even feel like she exists.
And this brilliantly illustrates Mama's advice to make a massive mindset shift. Instead of this external focus, constantly worrying about how others react, trying to please people, relying on others for visibility, she urges a pivot to an internal focus. Accept the way you are, focus on being your best self, and just try to make yourself a little better every day. There's so much freedom in realizing you don't need to please others. Your only job is your own daily evolution. Moving on to overcoming self-defeat. This is all about breaking that vicious cycle of saying, "I can't."
Of course, this internal focus gets tested. Sushma looks at her highly accomplished dad and basically says, Papa is so accomplished, I have no chance of making it through the top institutes. She's already decided she's gonna fail before she even tries. But Mama shuts that negative self-talk down immediately. You are defeating yourself by saying that. By declaring she has no chance, Sushma is guaranteeing her own failure. The words we say about ourselves literally become our reality.
So Mama lays out this super actionable daily mindset framework. Step 1. Express gratitude for being here. Start from a place of thanks, not a place of lack. Step 2. Try your best to make things better for yourself and others every day. Notice she says make things better, not be the best. And step 3, which I absolutely love, the only doubt you should allow is whether you are performing at your best. You shouldn't doubt your worth or your intelligence. The only healthy doubt is a quick check-in. Am I giving this my full effort? That is a total game changer for anyone dealing with imposter syndrome.
Let's move to our final section and see how all of this builds up. Pretty versus beautiful, and redefining how we actually see ourselves. Sushma asks one last, really desperate question. She's got the framework for her actions, sure, but she needs something for her spirit. She asks her mom, what do I say to myself to stay motivated?
Mama's answer draws a profound line between two words we usually treat as exactly the same thing. Pretty is a physical trait. It draws external, fleeting attention. It's the flower that blooms and eventually fades. But beautiful? That is a holistic state. It's gratitude, it's continuous effort, it's deep self-acceptance. Being beautiful is an action and a mindset. It is being the rich soil, the strong roots, the commitment to making things better.
Mama tells her daughter, say that I am beautiful. There's a lot of difference between pretty and beautiful. And take it from me, you are so beautiful. It is such a gorgeous moment of a parent not just validating their kid, but teaching them the actual vocabulary they need to validate themselves.
Sushma, who is clearly still learning to trust this new internal focus, softly asks, am I? And Mama just replies, yes, you are. You know, it's a quiet reminder for all of us that self-acceptance often requires us to borrow the belief other people have in us, right up until we are strong enough to believe it ourselves. Which leaves us here. And I want you to genuinely ask yourself this question as we wrap up today's explainer. Are you exhausted from trying to be the flower when your true power lies in being the roots? Maybe it's time to stop worrying about the external applause or the fleeting visibility. Maybe true beauty and true success is simply making the effort to find out what works for you and being the solid ground that helps others grow. Thanks so much for joining me to explore this incredible conversation. Take this mindset framework, apply it to your week, and remember, you are beautiful. Catch you next time.